welcome to another episode of the playonultra podcast. This is episode 137.
Woo!
Woo!
That's leet speak for let.
Dang it. Now I feel dumber.
So yes, things happened in the past 2 weeks, I guess, mostly.
Somewhere.
Maybe.
Somewhere. Yeah, somewhere.
If you know what happened, tell us.
Do our jobs for us.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I watched Jurassic World.
So did I!
Okay. I'm sorry.
So did you?
Yeah. And you should say sorry, although I enjoyed myself. My
I'm
partner did
joking.
not.
It looks entertaining enough, I guess.
Oh, so everyone watched Jurassic World.
I have no, I haven't seen it.
Oh, right.
Darn. Can't spoil anything, I guess.
No,
So,
you
like-
can. I don't care.
So like, you know how I always, like bring up Suicide Squad as like one of the worst things I've watched in
Yeah.
recent memory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is worse than Suicide Squad?
Yes.
Really? I didn't think it was worse than Suicide Squad, because I at least found some entertainment value, but yikes.
Like Suicide Squad at least had like funky characters in it.
I actually thought it'd be okay. I didn't think this would be any worse than like Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, I guess...
Every 5 minutes, I just looked at my partner and was like, this is fucking stupid. Like, why? Why are they doing this?
My partner was literally just doing this the entire time. She was so mad. It was really funny.
And it's so obvious that they're like setting it up to be this big like franchise world thing, post-apocalyptic thing.
When they say Jurassic World, they mean it literally at this point.
Yeah. And there was like Jeff Goldblum in like a, what do you call those when you talk to?
It's a Congress congressional
right.
meeting of some
A hearing kind of
a
thing.
hearing, yeah, congressional hearing.
Like
Was based.
Yeah.
My main problem with the movie, honestly, and this isn't that big of a spoiler, but my biggest issue was I didn't find they were basically the whole plot. In a nutshell, is that the dinosaurs from the last Jurassic World movie are all stuck in that island, Issa something, I can't think of its name, and there's a volcano on that island that's about to explode. And the idea is, the moral question is, as the United States, should we treat the dinosaurs like an endangered species where normally we would rescue them and take them out? That by itself, I thought, was an interesting dilemma. The way they present it and the reasons they present it, however, made no sense. Because obviously, pretty much most people were like, no, they were a mistake. Let nature take its course and wipe out the problem for us. But the main female character, Claire, from the last movie, she's the one, of course, that wants to save them. Okay, fair enough. She wants to save the dinosaurs. I was never given a plausible reason why we should save the dinosaurs. Literally, the only reason she actually gives is she's doing some lobbying with a congressperson on the phone, and literally she goes, do you have a child? Do you want, your child grew up with the dinosaurs existing. Do you want them to see them become extinct again? Like, what? That's not...
Again, the first time.
They were there for the first time. And it was just... So everyone's basically like, this is a dumb idea trying to save the dinosaurs, and we as the audience members are going... Yeah, we saw a lot of movies about why we shouldn't be saving the dinosaurs at this point. We played God, and it was a bad idea. But yet we're supposed to, root for the fact that we should be saving the dinosaurs.
I think that was an interesting dilemma to have.
Yes! I liked the concept.
They just introduced the dilemma, but did
Horrible
not flesh
execution.
it out. Yeah.
Horrible execution. And of course, in order to make us care... Tell me if you felt about this, Shard. Did you feel like the dinosaurs, except for the Indominus Rex or whatever, had a moral compass, especially the T-Rex? They knew who were the bad guys.
They were convenient.
They were convenient. There was only one good guy who died in that film, and spoiler alert, it was not by a dinosaur. Everyone else who was killed by a dinosaur were all bad guys. And there was one bad dinosaur, but it was just like Jurassic World, the first movie.
To be fair, they were prodding them with electric thingies, so they might be.
They only killed the bad guys. They never even killed. There was barely any. Because part of the reason, part of the thing with, I'm not a huge Jurassic Park fan, but part of the issue that I saw immediately was I know how the older movies were kind of all about man versus nature a bit,
yeah,
with some evil very horror-like. But they introduced those elements, and I thought the tertiary characters, the vet and the tech guy, I thought they were pretty funny. I liked them. I like the tech guy was like, why am I here? And he's just as confused as we are. Like, I don't want to be here. That was kind of funny. And like, he kept freaking out that like a T-Rex was going to eat him. And he doesn't die. That's what's so weird. Spoiler alert, I guess. So it just, there's really no danger, really. And also basically the ending was just, what are we supposed, like, I don't know if we can talk about it because it's a huge spoiler, but dinosaurs are now in America.
And Chris Pratt had very little lines. Didn't you think so?
He wasn't.
But whenever he says something, it was funny. But it was very small amounts.
Yeah, he really didn't. Yeah, I guess that's true. He didn't
peppered here and there.
Yeah,
he just made one-liners. They were funny, but was it like one-liners?
He was the only one. My partner would disagree with me. She thought he was an idiot the entire film. I thought Chris Pratt at least, like, because at first
everybody was an idiot in the film.
Well, Claire being the biggest one of all, in my opinion. But like, at least Chris Pratt's character Owen, at the beginning he refused to help out to rescue the dinosaurs. And then he decides to do it because of Blue. I at least felt that made sense. I was like, that actually, you're only out there to rescue one dinosaur that you like. I
disagree with Claire being the biggest idiot. I think the biggest idiots were, spoilers for the next 2 minutes, I guess, the people trying to buy dinosaurs to weaponize them. You have guns and missiles and tanks and shit made out of metal. Why do you want to weaponize a dinosaur?
This is technically a spoiler, but I have to explain it. So basically, they make a new Indominus. Sorry.
Historic precedents for this. I mean, Russia tried to weaponize dogs back in World War II.
Yeah, but okay, here's my favorite thing. But I guess my problem is that, like, in modern days, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's laughable in modern days. I mean, back then,
you know what would be great, though?
What?
If Jurassic World transitioned into a Dino Riders movie. Now, that would be fucking awesome.
I was thinking it should transition into a Marvel movie. Because you got Kraven the Hunter from the Savage Lands.
Oh, and we have Venom. We can get Venom T-Rex. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
That would be better than this, it sounds like.
This now, okay, if it turns into more like How to Train Your Dragon, I would be okay with this. Just everyone gets a dinosaur. But no, it was just really funny with the weaponized part. I just had to explain this because I thought I don't know if you laughed as hard as I did when this happened. Ridiculousness.
It's made $1 billion worldwide.
Yeah, it's made a ton of money. It's made so much money.
It's so bad though.
I know, but it's made so much money. They're gonna make another one. They're gonna make the next one because everybody loves dinosaurs, Char. Everybody loves
dinosaurs. Well, to be fair, that's the reason why I watched it, but I wasn't expecting it to be this bad.
What was did you guys watch The Good Dinosaur?
No,
I never did see it, but I heard it was
terrible. I heard it was so bad, actually.
No,
I'm like a cartoon.
Yeah, it's a CGI. Yeah.
I thought. I have a friend who really liked it.
Dragon. Okay, yeah. I do. Okay.
But yeah, it's just Jurassic World is just. I mean, I found it entertaining at parts. Like I would not like Suicide Squad. I was pretty much. The entire time. I at least did laugh at this movie. Like, the part where that one dinosaur just freaking wrecks havoc in that room I was laughing so hard. I thought that was
so I just want to clarify. I don't think Suicide Squad is better. I'm saying it's so bad it's kind of good. Kind of bad, but this one is just bad.
I argue the opposite, to be honest. Suicide Squad I really couldn't forgive.
But
this
to be fair, both are just really bad.
They're both awful. Like, that's not sugarcoat it, but...
You want to torture me? Yeah, put these two back to back.
Yeah. That's your hell now. I just want you to know that. But yeah, it was... I mean, again, I didn't care so much. I don't have tons of love for this series. I was like, it's dinosaurs and bad guys get eaten. But just some of the plot twists. The biggest...
God, can they stop making hybrids?
Yeah. Yeah. Or what about the biggest plot? Like, I feel like Foe needs to watch it because I feel like Foe would hate the biggest plot twist. Wouldn't you agree, Char? With the girl when they're just trying to die.
My partner was like,
"Is she part dinosaur?"
No.
I mean,
no,
technically
it's
we're all
not.
part dinosaur, but
Yeah, it's not quite that, but it's
Uh-huh.
still pretty bad. Like you
Yeah.
would still be pissed. It's
Remember the
related,
picture?
but it's not that she's part dinosaur, huh?
you remember the picture? My partner
Yes.
looked at me and was like, I think it's just like, I don't think that's what you're thinking it is, but it is.
It is. It totally is. Yeah, my partner almost walked out of the theater when they actually explicitly stated the reveal. She was so mad. It's just a really
Was this
bad
character
it's just-
like in the first movie. The
Huh?
mom. Was the mom like a character in the first movie or something?
Absolutely not. She was just random. They made up this character. They made up
right.
this character has never been referenced. What my partner thought they were going to do was that they thought that this girl was going to be the daughter of two scientists that were from like the second movie or something. But that's not what it was. It just feels like a twist that Foe would especially get so mad about. I don't know why. I just feel like I've met with Foe enough to know about the twist and he's really mad about
Yeah,
this.
I would agree.
It's hard to make a good twist.
I know, but this one seems like you would be especially mad. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, yeah, Jurassic World. I mean, it's already made enough money, folks. You don't really need to put your money towards it.
Yeah, I didn't know it was. I didn't know it made so much money.
It made a lot of money. I knew it did, because yeah. So
Oh yeah. Yeah, because the old man wasn't in the first one, right? They just said, "Oh, we're friends with the first guy."
yeah, no,
What's
the
his name?
old man was never. Yeah, he was a brand new character. They just added to reference the character from the very first film. Yeah.
So they added an old white guy to reference another old white guy.
Yes.
Basically what they did.
Yeah, of course. Obviously. Who else?
Yeah, because they're friends.
Well, they're friends. So who else would it be?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's so bad.
It's pretty bad.
At least I watched the Tick, so it made it like it kind of balanced out my 2 weeks. It was so good.
It's
You watched
my
what?
favorite insect-based superhero.
The Tick,
Oh, the Tick. Oh, okay.
the Amazon Prime exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Guess I gotta give
good.
it a chance. I thought it was a spoof. It is apparently not a spoof.
I mean, the Tick itself is satire in general.
Okay. That
Yeah, I
makes
was just browsing like what to watch because I have like a thing with the Prime thing. So I was like, oh yeah, I've been wanting to watch the Tick, so I'll just watch it, and like just couldn't stop. Finished the entire freaking episode, season 1 in like a day, and it's just nice. Like 12 episodes, just nice.
Yeah.
I love
It's
all the
good.
characters. Yeah. Quite over the top. I like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's weird because I want to quote the Tick more, but nothing's easily quotable because everything is like long and very like I don't know, like neckbeardy in terms of like vocabulary.
Yeah.
Like, oh, ho there, chum. Let's go like V for Vendetta
Destiny
kind of like
awaits.
so, yeah. It's like boom. That's something quote that's really easy to do.
Yeah. And he did. They only like reference the spoon thing in like one episode, that one little scene in the
Yeah.
apartment.
I think they did a great job casting him because Patrick Warburton's a hard act to follow, but Peter Serafinowicz does a good job.
I love that 2001 or whatever sitcom. I love that.
Yeah, sure.
And mostly because of the guy they casted. What, Patrick Warburton, right?
Patrick Warburton was the guy from 2001. The new guy is Peter Serafinowicz.
Yeah, I like him too.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, he plays a lot of like goofy characters.
Did you
Wasn't he-
know?
Wick, I think. Yeah.
He might have been in. He was in something cool recently. Oh, he was in.
the Tomb Raider.
I think he was in Guardians of the Galaxy as Nova, the head Nova guy. Not the head Nova guy. That was what's her name? But he was the main Nova guy in the wall that blew up. And they thought he was going to be Nova, but he hasn't been in a movie yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, I watched him in Shaun of the Dead.
He's briefly in Shaun of the Dead.
He was in the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes. All right, that's what I meant.
as Supernova. Yeah.
Okay, that was him. His name is Supernova? Okay. I was going to say something about that Tick. I don't remember. I watched... Have you guys seen an old movie called Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
It sounds
That's
familiar,
very
but I know I
familiar,
haven't
yeah.
seen it.
I watched it a long time ago, like when I was 12 or 14 or something, so I didn't remember it very well. It's really
is this the
good.
Expanse remake thing?
No. This is
Oh no.
it's an old movie from Steven Spielberg. I don't know that it's based on anything. It might be. I don't know. But the idea is these aliens come to Earth, and so the first third of the movie is kind of just like a bunch of scenes that aren't necessarily related, but it's like, holy crap, there's planes from World War II, and we just found them in the middle of the Gobi Desert. How'd they get here? Or like, holy crap, what's this? A boat in the middle of the forest. How did that get here? Or like, just weird, alien things. And so this guy like has a close encounter where he's like driving his truck because like all the power went out in the county. He's like an electrician. He's like, hey, fix this thing. So he's driving out, and this like light shines on his car, and like gravity inverts, and like he looks out the window, and like he gets like half his face sunburn. And so like that's the first third of the movie. The middle third of the movie is kind of him just going crazy because he keeps like, whenever he has anything like sculptable in his hand, like if he has like shaving cream in his hand or like a bowl of mashed potatoes in front of him, he's like carving it, and he's like making this like weird kind of like mountain cone shape. He's like, I don't know what this is, but like it means something. And so as a child, the first third was very scary because it's like aliens doing crazy stuff. You never see the aliens, but it's definitely kind of creepy, like abductions, and it's kind of spooky. The middle third, I remember being boring. Now, watching the middle third, it's very stressful because it's about his wife and him just like falling apart, like his family life, because he's just crazy, and so like he leaves him with the kids because he's clearly insane. Like he's like throwing like dirt in through their kitchen window because he's building like a giant version of the mountain now to try and figure out what it means. Spoiler alert, it turns out he's sculpting, him and other people who have encountered the aliens are sculpting Devil's Peak, Devil's Tower. It's an actual monument in Montana, I think, Wyoming, Ohio, one of those states. And so they go there, and the last third of the movie is real abstract. It's mostly just an alien ship hovering over like these humans with a keyboard, and they're just playing music back and forth at each other because that's how they talk. Like if you've seen Rick and Morty, the Close Encounters of the Rick kind is a parody of it. Like, show me what you got, and then they play music. Anyway, it's a good movie. It's just real weird, and I can't really articulate why I like it because it's also kind of long. Yeah, so I watched that. I finished Megalobox that ended kind of mehly. I started a new anime on Netflix called Aiko, which
Oh,
How do you spell that?
Aiko.
well,
It might
something.
It might be Aico. I don't know, but it's about like this girl who, like in the first episode,
AICO incarnation?
that sounds right. It's about like this girl who she finds out her body is actually synthetic. Like she has a real brain in an artificial body, and somewhere
Like, is it like
else
a weapon or
is
something?
sort of. So the plot is she was in an accident, and her scientist dad was trying to like heal her by making an artificial body or something. I don't really know the details yet because I'm only 2 episodes in. But they had, for some reason that they don't want to explain, they couldn't heal her. So they had to separate her brain and her body. So they have her real body with an artificial brain somewhere, and the main character is the real brain in an artificial body. And part of this procedure, yeah, okay.
So the real body still works, but it required an artificial brain or
I
something?
guess it doesn't make any sense to me either. I don't
Right.
know.
Oh, great.
But
premise
the
doesn't make
important
sense.
part, the cool part is during this procedure, something in the artificial cells went nuts, and so it's called like the malicious mass or something like that. And it looks like this red goop, kind of like from the remake of the War of the Worlds, and it's just like all over the place. And so they have like teams of people on like roller skates rolling around fighting it, and it's really silly but kind of cool. So I'm gonna watch more of this show. It's on Netflix.
Did you say roller skates?
Yes.
Combat is done on roller skates.
Yes. And they have like grenade
What
launchers
is
and
that
laser
sport
guns.
that you roller skate around in a ring and like you just try to
Roller derby. I think it's just
roller
called
derby? Is it something like that?
Yes,
Okay,
but with guns.
nice.
And the costumes aren't as cool, but it's still
America.
kind of
America should start that sport. Rollerblades on guns.
yeah.
I'm surprised we haven't.
That's actually a good point.
Especially in Texas. Lots of room, lots of guns. I don't see that.
Monster truck with guns.
Oh my god.
Oh my
How
god,
is
real
that
life
not
twisted. Real life twisted metal. I would fucking watch that shit.
Yikes. Don't give him ideas, man.
I want to see the guy in the 2 wheels. Remember that guy? He was in a car, just like this shirtless guy, like a wheel on the other side of his arm. It's like a TIE fighter, where you replace the middle with a guy. I don't remember.
Damn it.
Is that an anime?
No, that was part of Twisted Metal, I thought. One of the Twisted Metal vehicles.
I don't remember.
I think. But I did watch a lot of anime. So I watched that anime, watched 2 episodes of that. I watched 2 episodes of a thing called... Yeah, I'm hooked so far. Okay. I watched something called, like, Junuki Pandora. I don't remember the first word, but something Pandora. And the idea is, again, kind of poorly explained science. Some guy was working on a quantum power plant.
Is it Netflix as well?
No, it's not Netflix.
Oh.
And the quantum power plant went wrong, and it caused all of the life forms on Earth to hyper-evolve, except humans. I don't know why, but all the plants, all the animals hyper-evolved, and they became like machine organism hybrids, and they grew really big and mean to humanity. Now it's kind of like an Attack on Titan situation, where you have all the humans living in these cities behind walls, and outside the walls are like giant crabs that can shoot laser beams and spit acid and crap like that.
Yeah, I'm not finding anything.
They fight them in Mecha. Let me find the exact name. It is called Jushinki Pandora. Jushinki. Jushinki Pandora. And so that's okay so far. It's not as good as Aiko, I don't think. And the last thing I watched is I finished...
They're robots?
Yeah, it's a mecha fighting anime, which is kind of why I started watching it.
Nice.
It's a sniper one, a flying one, and like a human one, a tank one. I don't know. They're kind of cool. I like them so far. The main character kind of reminds me of like a Steins Gate kind of scientist, just super absent-minded. Not quite as bombastic, but a little similar.
Mm-hmm.
And I finished watching Agretsuko, which is Netflix's anime from Sanrio, the Hello Kitty company, about the like red panda office worker accountant who sings heavy metal on her downtime.
That's very specific.
What? Very specific.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's pretty. It does.
Is it a slice of life thing?
It's kind of like a slice of life thing, and it almost does too good a job because it's like she's dealing with things in the office that I have to deal with. It's like, oh, this is actually really real. Like the office worker who always does this thing. It's like, yep, that's a thing that adults have to deal with.
Name and shame. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, there's a new Ultraman series coming to Netflix too. Interesting. 2019 spring Ultraman. I will watch you. There's also a live action. There's actually a live action Mob Psycho 100 on Netflix. I watched it for like a minute and then stopped because it was really stupid. I don't know why you do a live action version of an anime ever. It's just so I don't think I've ever seen it work. There's got to be one example of it working, but I can't think of anything.
Live action anime? Yikes.
Like starting as live action and going to anime is fine, but starting as anime and going to live action, I can't think of a good example.
I can't. Apparently, the latest Full Metal Alchemist is okay, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
Live action?
Yeah, there's a live action Full Metal.
Japanese,
yeah,
like Japanese.
Yeah, it's Japanese. It's not English.
It's not like the Netflix one, which did Death Note. Was it Death Note?
Death Note, yeah.
Death Note, yeah.
One thing I will say, I don't care if it's racist because it's against Americans, so I don't care. I will say that Americans should not make live actions of anime because they don't.
Why not?
I have not. First of all, there's just a lot with it that I'm just like, all right, maybe it's not yours to create. But also,
okay, that one I get.
There's good American anime.
Oh no, American anime is fine.
Is it anime if it's American?
I mean, to be fair, it's probably just animated. It has anime. No,
yeah.
I just mean more like I feel because I have seen a little bit of like live action of when it's Japanese made versus American made, like live action adaptations of anime. I feel like one thing I will give the Japanese is they're willing to actually make it like anime style in the live action.
Yeah, that is true. It's very goofy.
The Americans are not
as close to the anime as possible.
It's a weird line to walk. I wish we did it more with the video game movies. Like I want to see video game movies where they're like having like pulling guns out of thin air and just doing goofy like save scumming. Like, I want to see stuff like that.
It's just, I mean, there's a reason the mediums.
Wasn't there like a first-person hardcore movie or something recently
Yeah,
that you
Hardcore
like?
Harry or Hardcore
Right.
Henry. I can't remember if it was Harry or Henry. It wasn't a video game though. It's just video game like. What were you saying, Sarah?
I'm just trying to think. No, all I was just saying is like, the live action adaptations of anything always kind of make me cringe because like, I get it, but at the same time, there's a reason why they work in the medium in which they work. There's a reason why they told that story in that medium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, and we can always tell, like, when a game doesn't work because it's too cinematic. Cough, David Cage, cough. And we can always tell...
It's too emotional. You just don't understand the emotions, Sarah.
The emotions.
I'm watching a Let's Play of the new
Detroit
Becoming Human right now.
Oh my God.
It's actually... I think it's his best game so far. But it's
Actually,
still pretty
the girl
silly.
from
I can explain
that.
why it's his best game so far. I can explain it right
Why?
now.
Last.
It's his best game so far because David Cage is tricking us. He hasn't learned anything. What is all of his problems that we have in his games? He picks characters that are not always very interesting and are kind of wooden. The voice acting is typically wooden unless he gets famous people. The stories... He always has like railroading in all his stories. So what does he do? He makes a story about androids where all those things make sense. He didn't learn anything. He just changed the story that made it make sense.
That makes sense.
That's right. I mean, because it still has two of the big annoying things of David Cage games. Tons of QTEs for mundane actions where they can just pause and like open a door or whatever. And then
brushing
all the scenes are just like a hodgepodge of tropes. There's not that much originality in anything.
But androids, that's why it makes sense. That's the only, like, I was laughing so hard as I watched. I was just watching. I watched part of a Let's Play. Sorry, I watched part of a Let's Play.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're literally like they're railroading you. They're like, no, you can't go here. You got to go to this spot. And I went, David Cage, you figured it out. If you made him androids, we won't question it because he does it in all his games.
Yeah,
but that's.
I mean, but this one has some pretty good branching because it shows you all the options, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did hear the branching's a little bit better. So one thing I did hear was that apparently I don't know how much the choices matter. I don't know about that.
It always matters though in his games.
Huh?
Well, at least with Heavy Rain.
Maybe in Heavy Rain. It didn't matter in Beyond Two Souls.
It did not matter in Beyond Two Souls.
Oh, really? I did not play that.
Yeah, it's just...
I heard it was really bad, so I just skipped.
It was probably the worst one
Beyond Two
of
Souls.
the contemporary ones.
Yeah.
What about his David Bowie one?
That's the worst. We don't talk about that one. That's borderline non-playable. Omicron, Nomad Soul.
Oh, I don't know that one actually. Oh man.
It's like I don't think it's literally his first game, but it might be his like first game, and it's.
I think it's first.
Okay.
It's
The only one I know of
release.
his old stuff is Indigo Prophecy, and that one's a treasure. That one's great
And
because it has.
the funny
a
thing
great
is, it
start.
could still be his best game, right? Fahrenheit, Indigo Prophecy.
Okay, here's
The
what I will
first
argue.
half of Indigo Prophecy.
The first part of Indigo Prophecy, like, okay, Indigo Prophecy is the best start because for some reason he decides that all his other games, he's like, oh, I know what the problem with Indigo Prophecy was. It had too exciting of a beginning of the game. We're like, no, that was the best part. The first two scenes of Indigo Prophecy were the best part. No, I don't want to see, like, stop it, David Cage, stop it. I don't want to see the normal parts of their lives. But one thing I will give Indigo Prophecy over David Cage's other games is at least when you fail the QTEs, you die. In his other games, unless it's a part where you could die, you don't.
It just repeats again, but yeah.
Well, nothing happens. Like,
right.
Didn't we talk about that video where some guy like literally just failed all the QTEs and it just looks ridiculous, but it's the same ending?
The chase scene in Heavy Rain.
Yeah, like, but that's what all his games are like. Like, that's why it drives me nuts. You know, so that's the problem. Like, so that's one of the reasons, like, Detroit Become Human, I kind of have to, like, I think it is his better games, but, like...
I think the QTEs make more of a difference. Like, on the chase, if you fail a chase scene, that is a branch. It's the way it appears to me.
Okay,
but can we say it's kind of
branch.
our fault because he's done this so many times? We should just assume this is just his MO.
I know. Well, and again, I'm like, okay, is it this? I mean, at this point, I'm like, do I give you a clap because you kind of got better? Like, at this point, I'm like, I feel like you haven't actually learned the core issue, dude.
How does he keep getting so much funding to make such expensive games?
Does the country support him? Because he's like,
is he one of those like Germany kind of thing?
He's French.
I think he's French.
He's French.
Maybe it's a government
But
thing.
like, there's a weird plot hole where like the robots are trying to flee America to get to Canada because America has like strict robot regulations, and Canada just doesn't have robots at all. But like if they
Wait.
get to Canada,
That
what?
sounds like the whole.
It's meant to be like racism. That's
Yeah.
guys. Do you
And
remember
Black
this?
Matter.
This is forever ago. But do you guys remember when we first saw the trailers for Detroit Become Human? I went, guys, did they just put the Black Fist in their like
Yeah.
logos? And remember, I was like, it's
That's
that
a
fist,
common
guys.
resist symbol, but yeah. But the problem is, if there's no robots in Canada, there's no resources to repair robots. They're just gonna die in Canada. There's no spare parts or blue blood or whatever they have.
Maybe that's the point. No, it's not. He just didn't think it through. He didn't think it through. Like, we know this. Anyway, I got into a David Cage rant.
And,
What were we talking about?
and the main character, the main actress is the sister from The Tick.
I
Wow,
didn't notice that. That's pretty cool.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think one of the main guys is from Grey's Anatomy, but I didn't actually check that. He just looks like him, so maybe it's not.
I don't know. I just, for some reason, I enjoy his games because I put his games in a box, and if it comes out a bit, oh, that's bonus. But it's in a box. I don't expect anything more than that box.
I've always wanted to like his games. Like, every time he has a new game come out, I always want to like them.
Like, Heavy Rain was fun
I
to me.
don't.
Yeah, I always
I
want
look
to like
forward to the Let's Plays.
Yeah. Detroit Become Human, I feel like once it drops in price, I actually probably will play it because at least it seems a bit more interesting, but it's not worth. Like, the main thing I've heard from most people, except for like one person, is like, the people who like it. The one thing I've heard is they go, okay, but it's not worth $60. So I will at least.
You can
that's
get
what-
like Until Dawn on sale for like $5.
Oh, Until
Which is like-
Dawn.
Which is, I still haven't played it. It's on sale right now digitally, and I think I should get it.
You should get it. No, Until Dawn, like, I only really, like, played with somebody. I didn't actually really play it physically myself and make the choices. This is
But
just
that's
my
more
opinion.
fun though. Like having somebody with you.
Yeah, no, it is fun. I played it with my brother, basically. We spent all night playing it. It was pretty great. In my opinion, there are some issues with Until Dawn. In my opinion, I think it is one of the games that has utilized choice and illusion of choice the best that I have seen. In my
It's
opinion.
the David Cage game that was not made by.
No,
the
that's the joke we make. It's the game that David Cage wants to make.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aha.
That's how I describe it. It's the game that David Cage wants to make.
It could not.
I
Maybe
think
it's not
David
the
Cage
game that he
just
wants
wants
to
to make
make.
a movie.
Oh, no, that's accurate. He wants to make a movie and then make it in movies. That's just true. That's the joke we always make.
But maybe he literally. No, maybe this is definitely he thinks he's an artist.
He
whatever
thinks
shit.
he's a Kojima type guy, and he's not.
Here's a joke I have to share that somebody made with me. So there was a podcast I was listening to that was comparing Kojima with David Cage and how they have
Whoa.
similar kind of like visions, but Kojima like was willing to work with the gameplay aspect while David Cage was like, I don't wanna kind of thing. Whatever. And the joke someone made was like, well, Kojima, it was really bad and racist. I don't know if I should say it. But basically, there's like Kojima, being part of a Japanese company is very accountable for making sure he makes good games kind of thing and works with it. Well, David Cage is French, so if you didn't like it, it's because you didn't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, like Konami
Good
has
point.
like spas and like gambling stuff, and I'm sure they work with the Yakuza. I don't think Kojima.
Pachinko machines.
Pachinko machines. That's the thing I was thinking about.
Oh man, David Cage, why are you so easy to punch?
I should read it Until Dawn.
I don't understand how he has a pretty like hardcore following though. People who like haven't like
I
realized.
love his stuff. I have a friend who's obsessed with his stuff. He
He's
got Beyond
kinda
Soul
like-
was a masterpiece, and I was like, I can't
He's-
talk to you.
It's the same thing with was the guy who did Inception and Fifth Sense.
Nolan?
Not Inception in Sixth Sense. You mean
No, just Sixth Sense.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Indian guy. M. Night
similar.
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So Nolan's kind of. I think that's a good relation.
Yeah.
So if M. Night Shyamalan is David Cage, then Nolan is Kojima.
Kojima?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I actually haven't really played Kojima's games, but I believe it from what I've seen. They're just not my kind of style of games. That's why I don't.
I like
still
Kojima
think
more
he's
than
a bit
Nolan.
overrated, but whatever.
I definitely think Nolan.
Well,
yeah, I
in some
agree.
ways you could say Nolan's overrated. I love some of his stuff.
I still
agree
think
with that
I
too.
also think Nolan is
Yeah.
everybody's overrated.
But
in
I
some
mean,
ways.
there's like I can understand. I can kind of see where the fanboys for those two are coming from. I can't see where the fanboys for the other two are coming from, or Shyamalan and Cage.
Because they look super into it and like try to derive some deep meaning, and it happens with a lot of artists.
I guess it's
good
kind of
and
like
bad.
it's like Twilight, where you just make a super bland thing and you can
And like
superimpose
Shyamalan,
onto it.
Shyamalan. I
Shyamalan.
made fun of his name so much I don't
I
remember
know
his real name now.
I don't even know how to say it. Shyamalan. I don't know. Shyamalan.
M. Night.
M. Night Shyamalan.
And,
Nick Knight.
Nick Knight.
M. Night and what's his name? David Cage is like, it's like the conspiracy theorists kind of.
Oh my gosh.
They're like the
Yeah.
one that people want to like and want to derive deep meaning
Where
from
they
because
can
they're
do all the
smarter.
explaining for them.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh
They're apologists. That's they're David Cage apologists.
Oh my gosh, I know. Oh, they drive me nuts. Drive me nuts.
Pretty crazy.
So yeah, it seems like 1 in every 10 episodes we just fuck on David Cage. For no reason.
That's the rate.
We just need to include No Man's Sky when we all set with all the things that we like to crap on.
On a similar topic, Char, you watched my video of the game I raged against 2 weeks ago.
Oh no.
I couldn't get through the whole
Dysfunctional
thing.
systems.
I couldn't get through the whole thing.
That's awesome. That makes me so happy.
Amazing.
Wait, which part makes you so happy?
That you couldn't finish it because it was so bad. You couldn't even watch it.
I think I stopped at the part where he
really,
like
really happy about that.
where you're in like a room and then there's like a projector playing like a
Yes.
real life video
That's
kind
the
of
part
thing.
where I start to lose it the most.
Right.
That's just the
I
most
should watch a bit
pretentious-
more after that, I think.
Maybe. I mean, it's all downhill from there.
I have
think the
extra
scene
brain
of
cells to
that
kill.
is the scene where you're shooting like bad reviews of the video game.
That's funny. That was pretty good. That was funny.
It's a cool mechanic. It's just
Is he trying to be funny or what?
I don't know.
So that's the
so-
game. Name and shame. Dysfunctional
Yeah,
system.
I said the name. I'd said it. I played a good game called Foxtail, which was afraid to be a furry game, but it's not. It's just a point and click adventure game where you're a fox, and it's pretty good.
Good.
Oh, okay.
It's like point and clicks. That's a good one. I'm
Guess
only
I'm not
like
playing it. Just kidding.
Question: is Gurren Lagann about transforming robots?
Um,
Transforming.
I wouldn't say transforming. I mean, if literally they do change. They transform. They do grow and change shape and that kind of crap. But I would not call them transformers because they
Right.
look more or less the same.
Yeah.
So it's like legs changing into tank treads kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's-
yeah.
Almost more like combining.
Yeah.
Combining?
Because,
like
like,
different robots
like-
combining together?
Almost. Well, so only the main robot combines. So the main robot kind of starts out as just a head with like tiny legs and tiny arms, and then the head
What?
is like put on
Okay.
top of another robot, so it has two heads, and they control the bigger robot. And it kind of just goes bigger
Okay.
and bigger from there until they're
It's a
controlling
comedy,
robots.
right?
It is funny. It is absolutely funny, on purpose.
Okay. I'm meaning to watch it.
That's a satire. I highly recommend it. It's the same team that did Kill la Kill before Kill la Kill. You should also watch Redline, which is a movie, so you can watch it much quicker than a TV show.
I'm just wondering, like, why no more animes that does, transforming robots other than Transformers? It's just weird.
Isn't what's the one you watched recently? The Netflix one about the cats? Freaking Thundercats? No, what's it called?
Voltron?
Voltron! Thank you. Is that
Thundercats.
Or is it just
The cats.
Do you distinguish between transforming and combining robots?
Like Thundercats counts, I guess. But
Okay.
anything else, like anime, like the Voltron one
Yeah.
is American made, so I want to
would
watch
say
like,
that
the Japanese. anime.
Jushinki Pandora is as transforming as Gurren Lagann, because the idea is like if your human spirit is strong enough, your robot will like get an extra gun or hit with a new spirit blade or some crap like that.
Right. Okay. Anybody watch Wretched? Wretched?
No. How do you spell it?
Getter Robo. It looks kind of familiar. Like the main robot looks kind of familiar.
It looks like a Devilman Crybaby kind of thing, or a Cyborg 009. I kind of like it, or like a Speed Racer. Excuse me. It's old.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of it because I heard it's a little too like innuendo-y. But probably the most popular ongoing current mech anime is it Darling in the Franxx? Something in the Franxx.
Never heard.
Oh yeah, Darling in the Franxx. Yeah. I met I met the voice actor who was directing it actually last weekend.
Oh,
yes. Well, I haven't watched it at all because I don't think I'll like it. But it's pretty popular, so it might actually be good.
Oh, is it one of those like romantic drama kind of stuff, but robots? Robots?
I don't really know. I don't think my impression is it's kind of like High School of the Dead without the humor.
Oh.
But
so it's very fan servicey?
Maybe. I should ask the person again who was reviewing it for me. But I trust their opinion that it was just a lot of flirty type stuff going on. So I guess fan service is one way for it. Romance, pseudo romance.
Persona 5D animation just started. Should totally watch that.
Do those tie into the game, or are they kind of like a separate thing?
Usually it's just like it tells the same story.
Gotcha.
But the Persona 3 and Persona 4 animes are kind of crap. Persona 3 more so than Persona 4.
Persona 4 is hilarious as an anime. At least the parts I've seen are funny. But
I wouldn't mind watching it for Chie, but not for one character, I guess. Didn't really play anything. Just
did you buy anything?
Final Fantasy. I bought a few things. A friend gifted me Final Fantasy 12 on the PC.
Oh.
So that is my next like big game that I'm gonna play. I actually bought Assassin's Creed Origins DLC. I bought the season pass.
Oh.
Yeah, so I finished the first DLC and I'm playing through the second one. It's more of Assassin's Creed. If you like it, then get it. I'm waiting for all the Far Cry 5 DLC to come out first before playing it. The Vietnam War one just came out a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, but I'm not gonna play it soon. I'm playing a game called State of Decay, which is an open world sandbox.
I have some friends who are real into that. It's isometric?
I know.
Is it first person?
Third person.
Oh, third person. Okay.
Yeah. And the first game came out a few years ago, and the second game just came out. But the second game is only for Windows Store on PC and Xbox One. Yeah, so basically it's very sandboxy. There's a story, but you can use like multiple characters. There are story missions, side missions. Go and find resources, fortify your base, those kind of stuff. So up my alley. There's a stamina bar and like hunger and all that shit.
Is it kind of like what's the game where there's zombies in a mall?
Dead Rising.
Yeah.
Some people compare those two games.
Okay. This seems a little more sandboxy though. The case seems a little more. Gotcha.
Both are open world, but this one I guess is more sandboxy. I haven't really
more
played Dead Rising
building
that
type
much.
stuff in it.
It's not like super base building like Fallout 4 or anything. It's just like, choose to upgrade this or choose to put this here. It's very set pieces kind of stuff. Yeah. Other than that, just watch The Tick, play State of Decay, and Jurassic World 2, which was fucking shit.
Are you going to watch Jean-Claude Van Johnson?
Probably after this, yeah. Probably after The Tick. I'll probably watch that.
I need to I don't need to rewatch it, but I don't remember the end that well. I remember laughing kind of hard at the first 3 episodes and just kind of not being as interested in the last 3, but I had them playing on in the background while I did something. So I'll be curious to see what you think.
Sorry, which one?
Jean-Claude Van Johnson. Like I didn't hold my interest like the whole way through.
Couple of new games got released on Steam at least. Crash Bandicoot, the Insane trilogy is on Steam now finally.
That's cool.
Damn.
Just came out a week ago. Overwhelmingly positive because people are really happy to get to play Crash Bandicoot on PC legally, I guess. The Red Faction Guerrilla game. Do you guys know what game that is?
Yes, that game is super cool. It's on my wish list. I didn't pick it up though because I picked up enough other games.
So
As
Red
it always
Faction is a franchise, and Red Faction Guerrilla, which is the best game, is the third game in the series.
I didn't know that.
You play a miner type thing on Mars.
Yeah, Sledgehammer.
Yeah, and you like become like rebels and stuff. And Red Faction Guerrilla
Terrorists.
is known for its destruction physics. You have a sledgehammer
Yeah.
and you can literally smash anything.
It's actually still on sale. It's 50% off right now. It's only $10.
Yeah, the
Damn.
reason it's on sale is because Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered just came out.
No, it's remastered. It actually is.
Remastered.
It's on Mars.
Because it's on Mars.
Because
And
it's on
and if you buy it, you get both the original and remastered edition. It's
Maybe
$10,
I should
50%
pick it
off.
up.
Honestly, it's super worth $10. Like seriously, the destruction physics in this game is so much fun. The sledgehammer is fun, but what I really love from that game is the wall mines.
Well,
You can throw like
mine's
20. You can throw freaking 20 mines at one building and just go down. It's fucking spectacular. It's
Should I
so
pay
nice.
an extra $10 for all the DLC?
There's DLC?
There's Path to War DLC. Oh no! So the
Oh, no.
collection.
No. The collection is
Collection.
all the other games from the series. So the first
But
game,
also,
the second game.
there is DLC, but it's only one DLC. It looks like. I don't know.
It doesn't have DLC.
It's for Armageddon.
The Guerrilla game. Armageddon is
Yeah,
the fourth
you're
game.
right. You're right.
Yeah. And honestly, seriously, just spend your money on the third game, Remastered. It's the best game, like hands.
Done.
It's not
I just
not
played
close
it.
competition. Because it's really weird. It's an open world sandbox, but the fourth game, the game after this, they made it into a linear action game, which is really
Oh,
fucking
weird.
dumb. They had a winning formula and they butchered it. So weird. So yeah.
I hate it. I mean, I'm torn because, like, on the one hand, I respect when games break their own mold. Like, we're gonna try something new. Like, good for you. That's brave. On the other hand, it doesn't seem to work out a whole heck of a lot of the time.
Depends, I guess. But yeah.
There's Might and Magic definitely fumbled it a couple times.
Trying something new is one thing. If you like make a left or right turn, that's fine. But this one took a step back, which is technically trying something new, but
Not in a good way.
Oh, and there's another game. This is for Sarah for sure.
Oh no.
Lagoon Lounge: The Poisonous Fountain. It's
Uh-huh.
a visual novel kind of game,
Uh-huh.
Aww.
and it's for Sarah because
Which two things am I into?
Bestiality.
it's furry. Furries.
Yes,
I knew it.
This is not
I was
the.
like, I doubt you would know if it was an incest in it.
So this one is furries. It's not the incest, but I assume there's no incest. I'm not sure.
It could be. I get 2 for 2.
Oh,
Exciting stuff.
this is two for three. This is a visual novel containing furry characters and homosexual themes.
Oh, nice.
There we
Those
go.
things never go together.
I know. Well, that's not true.
So
But
I guess you get to bang really buff wolves and tigers and
Or get banged by.
or get banged by whatever floats your boat.
whatever floats. I hope they let me make a choice. That's what's important because
That's
it's a visual
true. It's
novel.
powerful choice. Yeah.
Exactly. Get a different CG depending. Oh, that was a mental image I did not need in my head.
But I do think you'll like it because the reviews are positive.
Oh, okay.
And the art looks actually pretty okay.
All right. That's good.
Yeah, so it's not like a joke game or anything.
All right. That sounds good.
Just send the
As
link.
long as it doesn't have dumb voice acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So yes,
Goodness.
that's it, I guess. News.
News, I guess.
News.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, news. Guild Wars
Like Popeye
2
there for a second.
Guild Wars 2 developers got fired because of a Twitter row with fans.
What happened?
Okay, so 2 of them were fired. One was a level designer and one is a writer. The thing was started because of the writer.
Always the right.
I was reading this thing like this morning when I woke up. I was like, oh, people got fired. Let's see why. And
Fun.
so basically, the writer, she put up a post on Twitter saying stuff like, for gay people. No. She said something like, it's difficult to write compelling characters in an MMORPG versus a single player game because of all the choices that you're supposed to be given and those kind of things. It's just an opinion as a writer working in
Sure,
Guild Wars.
I can. That's not an outlandish statement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the person who replied to her on Twitter is this guy named Deroir Gaming, Deroir Gaming. He's a YouTuber thing, but he's also considered a Guild Wars 2 partnered YouTuber. I don't know what that is. But
Oh.
It just means you make enough content. It's like your primary thing or whatever.
I checked out
Yeah.
his channel. He has like 1,000 over subscribers, so he's not like a huge channel or anything. And
Okay.
he probably got more subscribers because of this hoo-ha.
Or
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so he's about like 1,000 or 2,000 now.
Oh, wow.
So Jessica Price said, not sure if it's possible to make an MMORPG character compelling. Because people have different expectations about what
Not
that character will
possible
be.
is a little stronger.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's possible. Yeah, because people have different expectations about what that character will be as opposed to a pre-designed character in a single-player game.
Okay.
So this guy, he sent her 3 to 4 tweets. Really,
Jesus.
basically, really, he said, okay, so he said, don't try not to have any pre
Okay.
whatever. Okay.
Too late.
He said, really interesting thread to read. However, allow me to disagree slightly. I don't believe the issue lies in the MMO genre, blah, 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 blah. I believe the issue lies in the constraints of the living story narrative design. Living story is a thing in Guild Wars 2. I haven't played it in a long time, so I don't really remember what it is. When you want the outcome to be the same across the board for all players' experiences, then yes, by design you are extremely limited. Another tweet said, but instead, if players were given the option to meaningfully express their character through branching dialogue options, might be better. Then perhaps players would be more invested in the role-playing aspect of the particular MMO. So she replied with, thanks for trying to tell me what we do internally, my dude.
Okay.
And he replied back saying, you getting mad at my obvious attempt at creating dialogue and discussion with you, instead of just replying that I am wrong or otherwise correct me in my false assumptions. You do you. I'm sorry if I offended. I'll leave you to it.
Okay.
So then she also retweeted saying, today she retweeted his first tweet to her saying, today in being a female game dev, allow me, a person who does not work with you, explain to you how to do your job.
Oh boy.
That's not
And
what he was
then-
doing.
And then
Yeah.
more things happened, and then a level designer was backing up the writer, and ArenaNet, which is the Guild Wars 2 people,
Yeah.
decide to fire the 2 of them. Discussion time.
The firing, I don't understand the firing aspect because it wasn't like
Yeah.
what she said, whether it was right or wrong kind of thing. Like that. I guess the reason I'm kind of like side-eyeing this a little bit is because I'm like, okay, I feel like plenty of developers who have done a lot worse have not been fired. So that's the main thing. I'm kind of like, what were they fired for?
Yeah.
So as I'm reading this, like getting different information from different threads and stuff, comments,
Mhm.
I don't think this is her first time going at it with
Ah.
fans.
Oh.
For those two
Yikes.
individuals.
I couldn't get any
It's-
like evidence of like the previous times, but I couldn't get any because tweets can be deleted. I really
Right.
have to look at the article because she's not like a
Right.
huge. She doesn't have like a huge following on Twitter and stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe it was under the radar. But Guild Wars 2 community kept track of it. I don't think it's the first time. And as the resident female of this podcast, what do you think about her saying? What do you think about her bringing up the gender card?
Gosh, it's right. I have a lot of. So what she is implying is that she was mansplained.
Yes.
For those who don't know what mansplaining is, it is a real phenomenon. I
Are
encountered
you
this.
mansplaining to us?
I am. I guess.
Womansplaining, mansplaining.
Womansplaining, mansplaining, I guess. For those of you, I'm actually just telling our viewers or listeners who
Yeah,
don't
please
know,
do.
mansplaining is the phenomenon that does happen. I've had it happen to me. I've had it happen to many of my female friends. It's basically the phenomenon where you are a woman of a certain, usually you as of a certain profession or a certain, you are knowledgeable of a certain topic kind of thing, and a man who really, for all intents and purposes, feels like they have to, like, explain your job to you kind of thing. It doesn't have to get that specific. It has been kind of brought into just when a man explains to a woman certain things that, like, whatever. That's kind of where it's brought into. But the main specific times that it usually is used is when, because this is, there is a classic example. There was a female, I think she was an astronaut, literally an astronaut, and she was saying something about space. I forget what it was.
Something about space.
I don't remember what
It's fine,
it was.
it's fine. I just found that funny.
Something about
fucking space.
But
Who the
like,
fuck
I wish I
cares?
could find the actual example. But this is, I remember this happened on Twitter. We all went, this is like the classic
of
example
course
of
it's Twitter.
mansplaining. It's always Twitter, actually.
To be
some
fair, it's
random-
because you get to follow anybody you want.
Yes, exactly. So she's saying something about space, and some random guy, who knows who he is, tries to, like, explain to her a physics thing, and she basically reacts with, I know. I am an astronomer. Like, I know this stuff. So that's the classic example. I typically had it happen to me where I have someone who studied psychology, and I would have people who have never gotten a bachelor's degree in that field try to explain to me about, things with mental health. Other men, I'd be like, yeah. I've had it happen to me online before, talking about different, like, mental disorders and stuff like that. I've had someone literally tell me that, like, yeah, I've heard that before, but I don't believe in that. And I go, okay, that's a different issue altogether, though. But, like, that kind of thing. So with her, I feel like it's hard because there is a line between, like, the thing is that what that guy did, asking for conversation. At the same time, he's probably not the first person who has said that to her and has said stuff like that to her.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where that
came from.
where that came from. Where that kind of like, okay,
the frustration
here we go
probably
again.
built up a bit.
Yeah. And I think
Although-
there is. Sorry.
At that point, maybe you shouldn't post things on Twitter if you expect somebody to maybe not agree with you.
No, and I
if you
think there
can't
is.
handle it.
Yeah. There is that. I think what's also kind of happening, and whether what the guy did was right or wrong, there is a tone that the guy was taking on that, as a woman, I have encountered, and women over the internet have encountered, which is kind of the, how do I explain this? It's the guy that is trying to, like, take what you say, how do I explain this?
Mm-hmm. Right, and make it reduce its dimensionality to make it kind of like more of an extremist, one-sided kind of thing.
Yeah, and just but he's doing it from an approach of, like, I am more logical than you, so I'm going to throw logic at you. Like, it's that kind of thing. And I think that's
this
also...
is why discussion on the internet is difficult. There's no tone.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's kind of...
And this is why whenever I'm not trying to troll or be an asshole to someone, I am really careful in my words.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's kind of like what was also kind of happening here. Whether the guy I don't know this Let's Player, I don't know what his intentions are. I just do know that there are, unfortunately, men out there that do that kind of like, well, let me take your statement and we're gonna, and it's like, I didn't even, okay. So, did she overreact?
All forums have that.
Yeah. Did she overreact? Maybe. I still don't quite, my main thing still is like, I still don't quite understand why she got fired for that, because I still feel like something was off here. That's my main sticking point. Whether the guy was mansplaining or not, okay, but like, if she got in trouble over and over for doing that kind of comment where she retweets and goes, when a guy is trying to do this, that to me is not being fired worthy, and that's what bothers me more than
the
It
firing
depends on to
part.
what degree she represents the company, I think.
maybe, but
I
even
would guess
That's the
not
thing.
at all. But
Yeah, she has
No.
what? 12,000 followers. Okay, so she's not as small as I thought she was.
she's pretty, but like, I guess my main problem is that we're hearing a lot of things coming out about like abuse especially in the video game community, those work environments and stuff, and nothing is being done. So for me as a female, what I'm taking worry about more than the possible mansplaining, is the fact that she got fired for this, and was
Yeah.
honestly, she was not.
was the guy also fired, the level designer who backed her up?
Yes.
Yeah,
Also, yeah, both of them were
that
fired.
that
Which
to
is
me,
like, I don't know about that.
that to me is the problem. That to me is what worries
Are you
me.
100% representing your company all the time? To be fair, they were talking about the product though. So
Yeah,
it's a
no,
bit-
that's a good. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a very fair question. I think if you're on Twitter and you are an official source, like it is known that you are working for this company and you have
especially
a Twitter
for video
that's
games.
just for anything that's public. Yes, I think you need to be very careful what you say. Absolutely. If you have a specifically private Twitter where no one knows it's you, like literally you're just a no name, then no. But she has the blue checkmark symbol, she says in her bio that she's a writer for what's its face. Yeah, you need to take some responsibility for that. Now again, what she did to me, I'm just like, did she get fired for that? I'm not saying it was necessarily professional conduct. I'm just saying she need to get fired for that.
Yeah, I don't really
That's-
agree with the firing thing.
That's where I'm like, where's this? That's where I'm like, sexism?
Yeah, we don't
That's
have
where
enough information to know, I guess.
Yeah. That's where I'm kind of like, I don't trust this. That's what I'm more worried about.
like,
Mansplaining,
it's a
like,
private company and they can do whatever they want. And
I mean,
stuff,
like, 'cause-
guess.
oh,
I don't think
legally,
this was likely to have happened, but like as far as we know, maybe she had like they made her do some sort of like training regime after the first couple of times, and like, this is your last chance, lady.
Maybe,
Yes.
I mean,
maybe.
that probably didn't happen. That seems unlikely, but
I just feel like that's super unlikely. And yeah, like legally, private company can do whatever they want. I just mean like, that to me is what sits wrong. Whether
And
she's
my second question, I don't think I asked the first. Another question is,
Yeah.
Twitter is a public thing.
yeah.
So if I start a thread saying something like that, anybody can. If my Twitter profile is public, anybody can reply to it. So that's a public thing, but I can also ask you to fuck off, right?
I think so. Personally,
Should be two-way.
I think so too. I mean, that's how I see it as. I think people are, because to me it's a lot like Facebook, where it's like it's your page. Yeah, people can say stuff to you. If you don't like it, you can block them. I think both of those things are fair. I don't believe people should be harassed, but that's why we have measures to protect against harassment, like blocking. We have those things. And to me, it's like whenever I hear about a famous person who has let me give an example that's not Twitter. Whenever I hear about a YouTuber who has blocked comments on their video pages or whatever, I may think, wow, that's kind of dumb. But I'm not going to say, they have no right to do that. Of course they do. This is not a government, to me, as an American, I guess.
Free speech.
Yeah,
What do you think about him using, because branching dialogues is not a very new thing or a complicated thing, and I'm sure they've talked about it.
I think that's where she was reacting from, where she was like,
Yeah.
dude, do you think we haven't
This is a
talked about
fundamental
this?
thing, and I
I think that's where she was getting the mansplaining vibes from, because that's kind of where those things can come from, where it's like,
His
did you think
response is very dumb.
yeah. So I think that's where she was kind of getting that from. It was like, oh my gosh, do you think I didn't figure that out? You know what I mean? So that's, I think, where that vibe came from. Because, yeah, his answer was like, no shit, Sherlock, kind of thing. And I'm sure that's probably what she was thinking, and that's why she got frustrated. And because that is kind of where mansplaining can look like, where it's like, yeah, I know, this is my job. So whether it actually was or not, it's hard to say. Most guys who mansplain don't realize that's what they're doing. They're not doing it because they think women are dumb. It's a thing they're not thinking. It's not consciously. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, fair. They're not consciously thinking this woman must not know her job and is dumb. It's a totally subconscious thing. So there's no way the guy's gonna be like, "Oh, you're right. Yes, because you swat me." You know.
So she actually sent an email statement to Kotaku.
Oh,
of course, Kotaku.
Kotaku.
Price told Kotaku in an email. By the time that guy came along, I was so tired of having random people explain my job to me in company spaces where I had to just smile and nod that it was like, no, not here, not in my space, she said.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess she's saying at her place of work, probably some part of it is because she's female, maybe?
Yeah,
that she don't have much of a say?
Yeah, so in her Twitter space, she gets to have a say. Unfortunately.
So is the Twitter space a personal thing or a public thing or both?
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem is because she technically represents for a company, so that's where it gets complicated to me.
And talking about the product.
Yeah, like that's where I think it gets shifty. Do I think she deserved to get fired for it? No. Do I understand her frustration? Absolutely. And do I see where she's thinking that from? Where it's like, in my Twitter space, this is my private space. Yeah, I get that. But again, if the fact that she's coming out and says, I represent this company and her public Twitter, that's where I think things get dicey, and she needs to, that's kind of where I'm like, ugh, for anybody, you know? I don't know. I think when you're representing a company, I don't think we have, I don't know. There needs to be better rules about it, especially with any company. I mean, they need to start doing that with all kinds of businesses, to be honest with you. Like, what is, like, defining your Twitter space?
The company's president said in a statement their attacks on the community were unacceptable. As a result, they are no longer with the company.
Weird. Like, that's what I mean. Like, attacks?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
She attacked somebody? She got pissed off. Did she attack somebody?
And how do you draw the line? What if she just said, "Oh, fuck off"? Like, just that.
Right, yeah.
Or just blocked him.
Yeah, just blocked him.
Don't engage.
Just don't, yeah.
I mean, I guess that shuts down dialogue, but...
Do you think it was made worse because he is a partner's content creator
I think
or whatever?
absolutely that had something... Well, I thought that's what I was kind of like, why did she actually get fired? Part of me wondered if that was the reason, because of who he was. Now, he's not super big, but
maybe he is by Guild Wars 2 standards. That game's not that popular. I don't know.
Yeah, but maybe that's kind of what I'm afraid of. Is that's why this really happened. That she got fired for this because he's too much of an asset to piss off. You know what I mean? And that's really what pisses me off too. Like, that's what I'm really worried about.
I don't think that's likely, but it's absolutely possible.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense otherwise. That's my problem. Or, she's a woman, I guess. Oof.
Or the repeat offenses were more egregious than we thought. I don't know.
I just don't trust them. That's the problem. Like maybe
I don't know
should.
what to trust.
After this many, I mean, again, I get her feelings. Like, I imagine, like, it sounds like she's been having problems. It could be too that she's been having problems with
this whole thing is bringing all the SJW hating gamer gators out of the woodwork.
Oh gosh, that's the worst part of it too. Everyone's just like that's the problem too, is everyone's, of course, those people are now making it like she committed a cardinal sin so that she deserved to get kicked out. And I was like, oh my lord.
Price is worried. Price is the name of the writer that got fired, that started it. Price is worried about the precedent the firing set. The message is very clear, especially to women at the company. If Reddit wants you fired, we'll fire you. Get out there and make sure the players have a good time and make sure you smile while they hit you.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for it. I'm glad she's speaking out. For being bad.
I mean, that sounds exactly like any sort of like service job, I guess.
But then another thing is, you're not on call 100% of the time. So when you make a Twitter post,
I hope not.
You shouldn't be. I mean,
shouldn't you be speaking as a normal person and not in an official
Could you have a private Twitter?
That's what I mean. Is I feel like
I keep my private Twitter, my YouTube Twitter separate, and that's not even really a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason I never say where I work. I specifically never state where I work on any of my YouTube stuff. I say what I do, but I never say where I work because I never want to be associated with that. Because if they find me, because I mean, with the kind of job I do kind of be careful with my content because, especially since I work with children, so technically they could maybe get me in trouble for certain things. But I never, that's why I'm so careful about that because I never want to be associated with that because in case I fall under fire, I don't want it to be that I'm fired because of that kind of link. And I think, like, there's something to be said. I think that it is wrong to have an expectation that someone's on call all the time, that someone can't have a private space. But I think at the same time, I don't know, I think companies need to talk about this more because it's not being talked about. Because right now what happens is people get in trouble through their companies because they say, it's hard line because at the same time you get the people that say horribly racist things. And so you're like, they should kind of be fired just because what a horrible person and what kind of service job are they working at where that could be horrible. At the same time, when it's things like literally opinions that are not harassment, like, yikes, I don't know. Ugh.
Yeah. And the funniest thing is the SJW hating gang always like make fun of how thin-skinned and how snowflakey the SJWs are, but whenever they're challenged a little bit, they just go crazy. So that's like the best part.
Oh, I know. They're so... Oh my gosh. It's true though. They get... I hate to use the word trigger, but they get triggered on everything. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. There's an option...
Pardon for the double-edged sword.
Yeah. There's an option to be female? What? They use they pronouns? No! Like, okay. Thanks.
So yeah, that's a thing that happened.
That's a thing that happened.
What's the
I heard Guild Wars added mounts, which is weird. Because it has a very... I said Guild Wars added mounts. I have no idea how long ago, but they have mounts now, which seems weird because back when I was playing, before mounts, they had a very robust fast travel system. So mounts were... in the game I played, mounts were pointless. So I'm curious how much it's changed since last I played. Two.
Well, my thing that I want to bring up is also kind of a big topic, but maybe we can touch up on it again. So those who don't know, the WHO, which is the World Health Organization, which is basically... as well. Yeah, they basically are partnered with the United Nations. They enlisted video game addiction officially in their diagnosis. Yes. So those who are not familiar with how mental health diagnosis works, the United States has their own kind of system, and then I don't know other countries, but the United States has basically a diagnostics thing called the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistics Manual. So that's basically a big thick book of all the kind of mental health diagnosis that basically the American Psychological Association lists as mental health things. The WHO have something, yeah, in the United States at least. The WHO has their kind of international kind. I forget what it stands for, but it's ICD. They have their own kind of world ICD. A lot of them, of course, have tons of crossover. Almost everything that's in the DSM you can find in the ICD. Not technically vice versa, that kind of stuff. Everyone's got different opinions of which one they prefer. I was taught on the DSM, so I'm more familiar with the DSM, but otherwise the main differences are usually some of their descriptions on things, and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So the thing that's kind of tricky is now the WHO has it recognized. The United States APA DSM does not have it recognized, and they're kind of... The APA, or the American Psychiatric Association, has debated for a long time whether to include gaming disorder, basically, as an addiction, and they have not. They were thinking of in the latest edition, but what they basically included was internet gambling addiction, not gaming addiction. While the WHO included gaming. So, funny enough, Kotaku has a really good article about this situation, which I was shocked about. The Washington Post has a pretty good outline of it, but yeah, Kotaku actually interviewed people and had a really nice article about it. But anyway, so the fact of the matter is, of course, this is not a black and white issue. There's a lot of murkiness, and The thing is that what's kind of agreed upon is the issue of how you define gaming addiction depends on who you talk to. And the problem with that is it's really hard to kind of define. The ICD kind of has their definition currently as, let me see if I can find the article where it had it kind of. So they call for, so basically the description of it, determination that gaming has persistently caused a person to have significant issues with functioning. That's in every kind of mental health diagnosis. They have to have the following signs: preoccupation or obsession with games, withdrawal symptoms when not playing games, a tolerance for gaming, so have to spend more time to be satisfied. Well, that's actually, I think, I think I said the wrong one.
Just addiction?
It is. They're listing as a type of addiction, essentially. The main problem is that the WHO's diagnostic is there is a time they have on it. It needs to be over a period of at least 12 months, and they're not. Do they actually have hours on it? I thought they had like a number of hours on it, but I'm not actually seeing
I'd heard a number that was like
low.
It's like 15 hours a week. It was less than 20, I think.
Yeah, I think it might have been less than 20. Here's kind of the problem. So it is true that the thing is that depending on how you define it, either tons of people have video game addiction or extremely tiny amount do. So when it comes to addiction, the reason we call it disease is because basically what happens is when you are addicted to something like alcohol or heroin or crack and stuff like that, your brain basically needs it to survive. And the reason addictions are so hard to break is because it's basically your brain treats those substances as the same kind of criteria as like food or water. That's why when you try behavior. It changes your behaviors and makes you rely on it so much. Like I said, it's like your brain is thinking like it's food or water, which is why when you meet with someone who has an addiction, you try to take it away, like they freak out because in their brain, they have to have it or they will die. In the case of alcohol, literally. So the problem with video game, but there are kind of some
literally?
Things like
really?
Alcohol.
Alcohol withdrawals can kill you.
Can kill you.
Seriously?
Yes.
If they're bad enough. I mean,
that's actually one of the reasons why if you know someone has an alcohol addiction in my line of work, you immediately have to send them to a detox or a hospital because they can't even start any kind of treatment before they get detox completely. Yeah. It's very scary. It's actually why alcohol, as much as we like to drink it, is one of the chemical dependencies. Yeah, that's all it's all chemical dependency. But behavioral addictions are a murkier area. So things like shopping, eating, sex, there are addictions you can see with that, but it's really murky because some of those things are supernatural, as in natural to do, and also like it's not necessarily chemical, so to speak. Gambling was one that was really hard to get on the DSM as far as an addiction, but it's been shown to be addictive. We're able to see in the brain that gambling can be addictive. Yeah, it's more chemical. And the thing is they're kind of trying to say like video games are like that. So what makes this problem complicated, in my opinion, as someone in this field is, and it's what a lot of people are worried about, is that it's kind of saying video game addiction, having that as a label, is covering up the real problem. Lots of these people that have what looks like problematic video game addiction, a lot of them have other addictions to other things, such as alcohol or other drugs, or B, have high levels of depression and anxiety. So there's kind of a chicken and the egg thing. Which caused what? Did video games cause the depression and anxiety, which you could argue if someone just locks in their room and does it all the time, or did depression and anxiety cause the video game addiction? So that's the problem, is that you want to kind of, and in my opinion, I think more often than not, the depression and anxiety are what caused the video game addiction. That's just my opinion. But
so what do you call that then? An addiction that comes out of something else?
You have depression and anxiety, and those are things that came out of that. So when they go to treatment, they need to treat the depression and anxiety. So, but it has been seen, because one of the things that for addictions, the only true, because some addictions are just addiction. So alcohol, like having alcoholism, you don't necessarily have to be depressed or anxious to have gotten alcoholism. So some addictions can be caused first, which you do treat the addiction. It's just that video games, are they like that? That's what's hard to say at this point. In my opinion, I don't think they always are, but apparently there may be a small percentage of the population where it is. That's cool and everything. But then we get to the problem of why are we making this seem like an epidemic? Because one thing that a lot of researchers are kind of saying is it's not necessarily an epidemic. It may be a problem. So therefore, having it being in the ICD might be a good idea because now it can be basically billed for insurance. Now they can look at that as the problem. At the same time, it could also cause a unnecessarily moral panic. And again, I feel like it covers up the real issue because I do believe that gambling addiction, like with loot boxes and loot crates, are a problem. But there's a lot of pushback against those issues. So it's a lot easier to blame, like, Call of Duty, the fact that they shoot at people, more than it is to blame the fact that they're doing loot boxes. Because there's a lot of money in one of those things. Yeah. So it's a complicated issue. Having it in there might be a good idea. It might also be causing panic. I also feel like it's covering up a bigger issue that needs to be better addressed, which is what a lot of people who say they kind of had gaming addiction, that's what they're afraid of. They're like, it's kind of just covering up the fact that I went into games because I was severely depressed, you know? So, I don't know. And again, they're showing that the bigger games that are issues are things like free-to-play mobile games, loot boxes, but there's not tons that are really being done to target that, is my problem. So I feel like they're trying to target the wrong way in this issue, and it's gonna cause a different kind of issue, I guess, is my problem with it. But it's not black or white.
If loot boxes are gonna be labeled as gambling, it will start in the EU first for sure. They are actively looking at it. They
are actively looking at it, which I think is a good thing. I think it needs to be looked, and not just because I hate loot boxes. I just, in general, they are a problem. And free-to-play games
and they're accessible to a lot of kids and stuff.
A lot of kids.
Isn't there like a disorder or something where people can't control impulses and they make a lot of purchases because of that, or something similar to that?
Well, so that can be part of the addiction, the gambling addiction part of it. If you literally are someone who is so impulsive you can't control yourself, you might have what we call ADHD. So, and that's been coming kind of more prevalent as we've seen. I think that's a cultural thing. That's a whole different conversation. But in general, I think that there is something to be. I mean, they make those loot boxes really easy to do impulse purchases, which is just a technique that's also used in gambling. So,
yeah, you get barraged by it.
Exactly. You know, it's very scary. I mean, one thing that always drove me nuts when it came to the video game debate is, you know, you have a lot of, because middle-aged people are super susceptible to this. Candy Crush, you know, and that's kind of one of the things that drives me nuts is like one of the things that some people are worried about is you'll have parents that are worried about their kid who might be staying up, you know, who may be kind of maybe not wanting to do their homework because they're playing Fortnite, but they're ignoring the fact that mom keeps using her credit card for Candy Crush. One of these things is more accepted than the other, and so that's where I'm also worried about too, because those things are not, especially since often Candy Crush, even though as much as the purists may not say it, it is a video game, but it has gambling aspects to it. It's just more accepted because basically middle-aged people think it's fun. Sorry, middle-aged people, that's true.
What's middle age? 30?
Baby
30
boomers?
To 40? Oh,
no,
40?
No, I say baby boomers.
Really?
40 to 50?
I guess that's not technically middle-aged, but I guess when I say middle-aged, I'm talking about baby boomers, honestly. That's who I'm actually referring to. Darn
they
baby.
Haven't had much experience dealing with this, so they're
they don't, and it's
susceptible.
Well, actually, it's actually an interesting problem when you talk about like looking at how millennials are constantly told that we look at our phones too much and we're like attached to our phones, because we were kind of grown up with it. Yeah, we watch our phones a lot, but actually, ironically, we're better at putting it down than a lot of baby boomers. They've shown that because they're not used to it, there is an aspect, and I mean I can give you anecdotal evidence for this. We were never allowed to have cell phones at the table, growing up. And my brother and I had smartphones before my parents did, obviously. And we weren't, we couldn't have it at the table. Okay, that's fine, whatever. The minute my mom got a smartphone, oh my gosh! Now she's the one that I kind of used to make fun of her because she'd be the one that would be like texting us and we're in the same house, like the kind of crap that you think, like it's kind of scary. So there is something to be said the fact that they're not used to it, so they don't have as much street smarts about it.
Resistant street smarts.
Kinda. I mean, I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, I compare it to the fact that, like, if I would not know how to do any kind of, like, I don't know, hitchhiking, my father hitchhiked all the time, so he would know what to do, but I would be the one that would fall for everything. So it's the same, that's what I kind of related to almost. A little different, because I think there is something to be said for kind of like a phone attachment addiction issue, but again, it lights up your brain like a lot.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. So. But there is also, back to the video game addiction thing, one thing I was reading. As much as I may say I think we're not looking at the right problem, I will say that people who are anti this video game addiction thing are not helping at all. There are people who are, of course, sending like death threats and getting very defensive, and that's not right either.
Who do you send death threats to for this?
There was a guy who was researching. It was researchers, but it was also there was someone who had a website to help those
like
with
article
gaming addiction
writers and stuff.
like gamequitters.com or something. It's a support group basically. So people who identify having a gaming addiction and go on there, which is nothing wrong with that. It's a support group as long as they're not
anything negative about it is an attack on.
They're trolling their death threats, and it's like
they see an attack on the hobby. They see an attack to
exactly.
themselves.
And it's like there's nothing wrong with those things. Whether my opinions on having the WHO be that official thing is one thing, but having an online support group for it can be a very real problem for a small portion of the population, yeah, let's give them that. Don't send death threats to people. There's a concept. So they're not helping matters either, because of course now they look crazy, obviously. It makes our whole community look crazy, which is to be expected.
So yeah, I have no more news. I just literally had that Guild Wars 2.
Those are some pretty two big topics, so.
Yeah.
Ant-Man is coming out, right?
It is. It came out last night.
It came out.
Decent reviews.
I'm seeing it this Sunday, so.
Nice.
I might see it this weekend.
I'm sure it's not.
I'd like to.
Freaking Jurassic World 2.
That's probably true, but it sounds like it's a very low bar.
It is a very fucking low bar.
Yeah.
It's very low.
I've heard really good reviews about Ant-Man, so I'm excited. A lot of people that
seems the reviews are higher for this one than the
super high,
one.
which I was kind of surprised, but
Interesting.
Okay. First Ant-Man movie was good. I liked it quite a bit. It wasn't like
and Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd's fun.
I wonder if a lot of people didn't see the first one until after Civil War, and they wanted to see more about Ant-Man.
Well, that's what my partner did. She never saw Ant-Man, so we actually had to show it to her so she could watch this new one.
Honestly, I go more for the lesser-known characters now.
Ant-Man's way better than Spider-Man.
Ant-Man, Black Panther, those two are...
Those are kind of where... Well, see, in my opinion, that's kind of where Marvel's really shining right now. Because, I mean, like, let's think about it.
I think that's true for the comics, too, actually.
Yeah. Because, like, let's think about it. The only good Thor movie is Thor Ragnarok. And he's one of the main guys.
The first one's not horrible. The second one's shit.
It's definitely weak, though. Especially of the main
But the third one's really good. But is Thor considered, like, a marquee name?
Yeah. Yeah, yes. I would say absolutely. Anyone who was in the first
I wouldn't say he was not before the movies. I mean, in the Marvel comics, he was definitely. Like if you read the comics, you knew who he was, but you didn't. People who didn't read the comics didn't know him in the same way they knew Iron Man or Captain America.
Or Spider-Man. Spider-Man is like the biggest character, I think.
That is true.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm so excited for the new Venom movie. That's so going to disappoint me, I'm sure.
I'm very curious about it, but I have very little optimism.
But the casting choice, like Tom Hardy is fine, but the others around him just looks out of place.
Who else is in it? I don't know anything about the movie actually. I think I saw a trailer, but I don't remember.
Yeah, like it's like not lesser than.
Like I don't even know what the conflict is. Is it like a Suicide Squad kind of thing? Where like Venom, we need you to catch bad guys for us, or we'll blow up a bomb in your head.
Big corporation. Has Venom thing fuses with Eddie Brock, kill, destroy, basically.
It's like a revenge story.
I don't think it's maybe it is. I'm not sure.
I don't know what the motivation or conflict is.
I'm just worried that Venom is just gonna show up for like 5 minutes of the movie.
As long that'd be bad. What would be worse is if he sounds dumb.
Did you not watch the trailer?
I guess I didn't watch the right trailer. I saw a trailer in theaters when I saw
There's an official trailer that came out a month ago or 2 months ago.
Okay.
And you do hear Venom's voice.
Is it good?
I think it's a electro
Acceptable.
Tom Hardy voice. I'm not too sure. Like, it's not bad. It's not a turn off for me.
I want a smoker voice. Just like the raspiest, like somebody took a bottle brush and just scraped their throat raw before recording the lines.
So yeah, Tom Hardy is both Eddie Brock and Venom.
I mean, that's okay. I guess it's expected.
So he did the voice and the mocap. And some people are, like theories. Oh, they're gonna show Carnage at the end, kind of thing.
Oh, who?
Carnage.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I don't see it going any other way.
I wonder if in the because like right now reboots are all the rage. I wonder if we're gonna see a spat of crossovers, like Venom versus Alien or something random.
Recently, somebody acquired somebody, and people were like, "Oh, we can see Wolverine in X-Men now." No, not Wolverine in X-Men. Wolverine in Avengers.
Are you sure
now.
Disney didn't get
Fox?
Warner Brothers, Fox.
Fox.
That did happen.
Who's making this Venom movie?
Fox has Spider-Man, right? And the X-Men.
They did. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Warner Brothers has
Sony has Spider-Man.
Sony.
Oh, so Sony should have Venom too.
Okay. Yes, I guess that makes sense.
So the Venom movie is going to be distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing, which is a weird name. Production company Columbia, Marvel, Arad, and those stuff. So so they're doing it like the Disney Marvel thing. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that's cool because the recent Spider-Man as well, Marvel worked on it, right? Because Sony was like, "We suck, save us."
Yeah,
really bad
probably.
at this. Okay. Sony should just throw money at people. They shouldn't make anything. Should just stop making things. So yes,
we should see a bunch of crossover stuff in a Lego movie. That'd be cool.
Lego Venom and shit. Yeah,
I guess we'll see some. I liked Lego Clayface in Batman. That was cool.
I would watch Lego Marvel vs. DC.
I would as well, for sure.
Yeah, because they do have both. Lego does have DC and Marvel. So yeah, okay, I think it's a good place to wrap up.
I think so.
So yes, Sarah, the thing.
So yeah, you can find me as Sarahscopic, SARAHSCOPIC. I am more active on Twitter. I am on Facebook and I'm on YouTube and I'm on Twitch. And actually, I do have some exciting news. No, I'm still working on new videos. Shush. But I'm actually going to be partnering with somebody. I am
partnership sellout.
Kind of. So I mean, it's really not that grand. I am dating someone who's part of a different show. So my partner works for Checkpoint Radio, and they do lots of streams throughout the week. So I'm doing a stream with Iscalia, or Joe, as they're known on there and we'll be doing basically just a series where we're trying to make each other play games that we hate. So that starts so it actually starts this Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So you can catch on to that if you wish and watch me force my partner to play Get Over It because I like pain.
Oh, jeez.
What is that?
Get Over It, the guy in the pot.
The Quap guy, right?
It's the guy in the
hammer in the barrel.
Yeah, you have to try to get over the... Just look it up, you'll know what we're talking about, Char.
Okay.
And
it looks
anyway.
like whatever you think the opposite of fun is.
Yeah,
so
it's
Getting
all...
Over It with Bennett Foddy.
Yes, that one. So it's gonna be a fun time. We'll be doing it every other Tuesday. So basically look up Checkpoint Radio, and every other Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. I think we're calling it Loathe at First Sight. You can see us try to see who will break off the relationship first, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to. Okay, never mind.
Tell me later.
Yeah. I'm on YouTube. That's it. Short one.
I'm on Twitter and YouTube. So yeah. This has been episode 137 of the playonultra podcast. We will see you when we see you. Boo boy.
Bye.